agreed to do this Life After Lockdown series with us.
Oh,
you disappeared there for a minute. That was a quick exit. We would like to start by, well, I should probably start by just a bit of a disclaimer. This is my sister, as you know, just so that people know that we do know you very well. We would like you, if you could, to tell us a little bit about what it is you actually do, because you've got quite a portfolio of activities. So can you start by just briefly giving us an idea of what you do generally, and obviously that may well have changed as a result of lockdown, and we'll get to that as well.
Well, initially retired PE teacher that's then gone into working for a charity that supports people with fatigue-related conditions. So I started off sort of doing a bit of basic admin with them and helping out with support groups and things. And obviously it's changed in its delivery now. I also am lifestyle massage, and so through that I've gone into secondary schools predominantly and helped work with staff delivering some mindfulness sessions, and also a very short sort of de-stress Indian head massage as part of their well-being weeks and things that they've been offering. And also I really enjoy sitting and tinkering at my sewing machine. So things that I've made are things like lavender eye pillows to help with headaches and relaxation and things. And the sort of the stands that you can put your tablet or your device into, yoga mat bags. And then I started, again, this is going to lead into why lockdown and what happened, but a bit of thinking of mum and wanting to be land army girl during the war. And I thought, what can I do for this war effort? And so I started making face masks just for people who requested face masks. So and Graham have been delivered some of those. So yeah, just sitting at the sewing machine. Yeah, demonstrate it. So I've made over 100 of those, some for Birmingham Children's Hospital, some for individual staff who've got family who they want to make sure they don't pass on things to because they work in a hospital. Some other tiny ones. I had to make one for a 2-year-old. God, I had 3 times that came and went before we got the sizes right. So yes, that's been keeping me busy.
Great. Okay. And you also have another role that you do as well. Can you just tell us a little bit about your work with Salus?
Yeah, Solis was formed 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago, and we've helped about 15,000 people who have fatigue due to things like neurofatigue from brain injuries, or people who've had cancer treatments tend to find that the treatment, the medication and the treatment leaves them with this residual fatigue. People with anxiety and depression, people with post-traumatic stress who've had extreme fatigue. And we've said as an explanation, have you had flu? And a lot of people go, yeah, I've had flu before. Have you had a hangover? Yeah, I've had a hangover. Have you had jet lag? Yeah, I've had jet lag. Roll that into one and imagine it doesn't get better week after week after week. And that is what people with chronic fatigue, I've had fibromyalgia personally, so that's how I came to it. So fatigue from a variety of different areas. And obviously, unfortunately, a lot of people who've got post-viral fatigue or post-viral fatigue syndrome are left with something that sometimes gets diagnosed as ME or chronic fatigue syndrome. Sometimes it lasts sort of 3 months and then they gradually recover from it. And sometimes it sort of stays. And unfortunately, COVID-19 seems to be something that is leaving quite a few people with some fatigue beyond it. Now, again, that can be several weeks and then you recover, and that's great. And for some people, it's going to be a longer process. And we hope that what we deliver, mainly through our fatigue wellbeing hubs, we've got 2. We've got a community hub that's a free hub with video support from our health practitioners. And we've also got our, it's going to be £10 a month subscription, and that's going to be massive in helping us continue to support others. So we're hoping people will see it as a £10 donation to charity, but they also receive hundreds of videos and fact sheets. We're really fortunate that we work with some very passionate nutritionists, psychologists. I do some of the movement because I really love my Tai Chi, as Annette knows as well. And also from the massage point of view and from having been a PE teacher point of view, just simple movement. But we've got some videos on there, and just the shortest, simplest smoothie recipe, or, you know, when your energy levels are and you need to reboost. So a bit like that battery that's running on zero and you need to recharge it. You haven't got the energy to recharge it because you can't make that meal that you want to because you haven't got the energy. So simple tips and things about that, and how to learn to just put things on pause, and that's okay.
Yes.
You can't be everything to everyone all the time. So it's about learning head thought patterns, you know, patterns of thought and that mind-body connection. Because if we're clattered up here, it can impact on bodies too. So that's
interesting. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so that's the Salus side of things, with the Facebook page and the online hub and the website. Gives all that sort of support. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say that effectively we've all just been on pause, and we've had to be okay with it because it happened and we had no choice. What difference has it made to you in the works, the activities that you do, and what do you see the next stages of that being?
From what point of view, sorry?
What's had to change for you? You've just listed 3 different activities: massage, obviously the Salus that you've just talked about, and the sewing. What if anything has that's ongoing? You can do it at home, I guess. That one is kind of the one that's got away without any major changes being made, apart from the ones that you've decided to implement. But the other 2 probably have undergone quite a few changes. Can you just give us an idea of what they are?
Yeah, well, some of the things that I've seen from a massage point of view support what, again, partly through Salus, doing videos of how to do a hand massage. So I've been watching other health practitioners doing self-massage, or obviously if you've got a person in your house that lives with your household, you can deliver those massages. But how that changes for massage therapists is going to be very interesting. I'm not going to be able to go and be George's Colt's massage therapist there, which will be great at the moment, but he's just going to be starting to go back to training. So his rugby training is going to start. But so, you know, that would be something that I used to do. I used to go to a rugby club and help out with the rugby team. I can't do that. I can't go into a school at the moment, as they're obviously going to be really cautious and careful about the numbers that are in their schools. So yeah, there's a lot more online, which is really hard for a hands-on therapy.
Yeah.
As you said, the sewing, that's going to be great. That's going to be something that I can continue to do. And interestingly, where I volunteer Tai Chi, I also have been asked to help with fundraising, because where I volunteer to teach Tai Chi is also another charity, a cancer support centre here in Sutton Coldfield, and they've asked if I would make face masks, because I've done some fundraising through the bits that I make. So I would imagine that there are going to be some interesting things. I mean, if anyone knows, For the Love of Scrubs is a Facebook page that's just grown out of all proportion. And what our NHS staff are doing is wearing scrubs that's been made by, you know, little so-and-so in their home. That, you know, so we're little machinists. So as I said, that sort of war effort, there's a little community going on there. That's felt nice, being part of a sewing community, because I've been me doing my sewing by myself. That's felt quite nice.
Jane, I think that's really key what you've just said about a community as well, because I think one thing that's come out of this is the realization that we're all actually kind of connected and we're all in this together. And it's very difficult to have that sense of community when we've been in lockdown. And I think the web has really taken on a new importance for everyone at the moment. So with regards to what you do, because obviously you've got a whole portfolio of different activities, and all of those that you've just described can be done obviously either in person or at the moment on the web, in terms of what you're doing for Salus. You've described how you can offer videos, etc., on the web. Has it made you have to rethink how you do things generally day to day as well? And have you found it quite difficult to adapt, or have you managed to kind of, like, you know, implement it quite easily?
So personally, you mean? or professionally, or both?
Well, both.
Yeah.
Working from home, we had been in a very small team with Salus, so not being with that team of 5 other people has been strange. And obviously the connectivity there is, as we're doing now, is talking virtually to somebody. And when you like a big hug or when you want to cry or whatever, it's different, it's challenging. But I'm really fortunate that I only work 2 days a week. So our team meetings are half an hour, our one-to-one sessions are half an hour, and I'm okay with that level of technology. If it had to be the teaching that some of my colleagues, my ex-colleagues are doing,
Yes.
the online teaching on Google Classrooms or whatever, I am so very fortunate that I don't have to get my head around that kind of a thing. So yeah, I'm finding that initially I was even meeting up for a cup of virtual tea with some of my friends. I had an evening meal with one of my friends and her family. And I don't feel the need to do that as much. I don't know whether that's now because we're allowed to meet up a little bit more, or whether I really needed to do that in the first 4 weeks and then I got used to it. I adjusted. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But initially there was a bit of resistance, and I'm sure that's the case with a lot of people. And had I not been able to meet up for real with people, like going for a walk in the park, socially distancing with friends, I think I'd have probably found it a bit more challenging than I'm finding it.
Yeah. So have you come to any personal realizations about any new insights as a result of this, or even what you see as the bigger picture, the global picture? Anything?
I think that, back to what you'd said, I'm okay. I'm okay with this, and I'm not a great pub goer and restaurant goer and all of that. So those things that are locked out to me haven't impacted majorly. Love the birds, love the garden.
Yeah.
I've spent far more time in the garden, and I think George, son, who's 16, and Dave, husband, have a little bit, and we've spent more time as our little bubble. And he said yesterday, actually, Dave said, I wondered whether we'd be killing each other by now, and we're actually really enjoying each other's company. So I think it's calmer, and hopefully that'll continue, because it sounds like Dave's work isn't going to need him to go back to working in an office. So I'm not picking up on his shuttle and his drive. The drive was off when I got back, and hearing those bits. I hear bits about his day throughout my day. So it's kind of chunked it down, and it's kind of calmer. And I think that will continue until he changes where he works, and that'll be interesting. Two things that I thought about was, one, the pile of faith in nature bottles that I've got going on, because I can't refill.
Yeah.
Like, right, I feel quite bad that in our bathroom there's quite a pile going on, because I'm not going to chuck them just into the regular recycling, because I might be able to use them or refill them or something. So feeling a little bit of guilt about not being able to refill as easily, because the shops I would refill aren't open. But then thinking, but I'm using my car so rarely.
Yeah.
I wasn't using it lots before, so happy with that. Walking places, and as a collective, we're not having the same impact. So I would love that. People who found a love for cycling, oh my God, I love my bike. I love getting on my road bike, particularly. That the fitness that they've enjoyed, that the impact on the environment that they've enjoyed, that is something that continues. The fact that people's hay fever changed during lockdown because there wasn't pollution in with that hay fever, I think I quite like, hearing about people being able to see the Himalayas, or the sea in Blackpool actually turning to blue, or all of those little things that have happened, that people have seen birds they've never seen before because they're nesting in their gardens, they're feeling a little bit safer to come inland a little bit or whatever. I love that, and I would just love, and I think it's something that I'd seen posted before about, I'm doing that. Dave's doing that, George is doing that, our household is doing that, one or two other households are doing that, but it needs to be the world. Nature gave us the biggest kick up the backside to say, please let me heal, let Mother Earth heal. And Mother Earth is healing, and we cannot go back to just damaging ourselves and her again. We cannot do that. So
we certainly second that, and that's something that we think about quite a lot, and we just pray and hope that that we will see a lasting change. You just going out on the streets in the last few days and seeing more cars, you kind of have that feeling that, oh no, I don't really want to go back to what it was, but it's kind of finding a balance, and we're just hopeful that people will actually change their behaviours permanently as a result of this. But I guess time will tell. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Jane, as well is, have you seen your own priorities change as a result of what we've just lived through? Is there anything now that you want to do differently from what you were doing before?
Yeah, even the small things, the details. Is there anything different now?
I like that it gave me time to, well, it didn't, because I had the same amount of time, but I felt that it gave me time to walk and get out, and that social interaction when I first started bumping into people. I love this. You mentioned it, Graham, the community, and this is our local community, putting the bins out and actually talking to neighbours, which we weren't doing as much before. You know, we now go down the road and wave to neighbours that we've started to talk to, that we just hadn't before. Oh, that's car cleaning Kev, and now we know who he is, you know. And
we've got one of those just around the corner.
Yeah. So the interaction that we've got, also something really simple. When Dave and I first started going out with each other in the early mid-90s, he was a passionate climber and walker and camper and all of that. Then life got in the way, and I've just shown you the tent that we've got. We're going wild camping. We're going to minimize our impact on the environment as much as we can and really settle into nature. And we've got it in our garden, and we've enjoyed that. And we would just like to sample it in little places. I know it might mean a car going out, I'm sorry, to access it, but it will be, you know, really hopefully living as much in tune with nature and wildlife and things as we possibly can. So we've really missed that, you know, in your heart, you miss green spaces and wildlife, and so grateful we've got a garden.
Yes.
And others haven't. And we've had a really fortunate experience. You know, we've not been furloughed, we've not lost jobs, we have got a garden, we are fit and able to walk out. So many things to be grateful for. I suppose that's it as well. I've filled in my gratitude book a little bit more as well. Yeah, it's been nice to be grateful for neighbours. But the one thing I'm missing, Nettie.
Oh yes, yeah.
Hugging people.
Yeah, not probably.
Yeah. Get my arms around Mum, get my arms around you and Claire, and that would be really nice. Yeah, I don't want to bump elbows with anybody.
No. Well, I think that's all we wanted to ask you, and that's perfect time to round off. Obviously, you presume you are still making these. I think for people like us who may need to go on public transport at some time, we will absolutely have to use them. How can people best get in touch with you directly, and maybe the best address to use for the Salus Fatigue Foundation, which of course is a charity. I didn't mention that at first.
On Facebook, I'm Lifestyle Massage. So if you've got an order for a face mask or a yoga mat bag, or as much as possible, I do environmentally friendly, but sometimes there are some things you just can't. I've got waterproof and non-waterproof yoga mat bags, and the tablet pillows for putting your devices in and not hurting your neck. Tech neck. See, I'm thinking.
Are there pictures of those on your Facebook page?
Sorry?
Are there pictures of those on your Facebook page?
I believe so, but I'll check and make sure. And obviously the face masks and those sorts of.
What was that again, Jane? Lifestyle massage.
Lifestyle massage. Yeah. And
with this post.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And then the charity where people can subscribe to the free community hub or the subscribed hub is www.salus, which is SALUS, salus.org.uk, www.salus.org.uk.
Okay, we'll get that up as well.
And just to recap, that's for people who are suffering from chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, fibromyalgia.
Well, it's any fatigue related conditions, but obviously because on there you've got things about keeping healthy.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be just if you want something where everything's under one roof.
Yeah.
You want to be able to access it from home. You've got qualified health practitioners on there, and you've got lived experiences of people who've made recovery journeys. Yes. And are able to cycle and walk, and then we've got our team of all experienced fatigue from one reason or another. But yeah.
Great.
Wonderful.
Well, that's superb. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will obviously share this, and we'll share it with you within due course. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jane. Bye.
Nice to see you. Take care. Namaste.
Namaste.